Hi friends, we're out in the garden. We're gonna go and pick some herbs, and we are gonna show you how we dry them and put them together as an herbal blend to use in the winter time for your soups and stews. So let's go. So here are some of the herbs that we just collected. These are some of the herbs that we use for our dried herb seasoning that we use in the winter time for soups and stews. You can even use it on grilled meats. It's just an overall good mix of herbs. We like to take these. These were all watered this morning, so they got a nice rinse this morning. You can do that. You can rinse them now if you wanted to, and spread them out to dry before you bundle them up. But you know, a little dust I don't think is going to hurt anybody. So we have some French thyme, lemon thyme. Absolutely, we use a lot of this. Bay leaf, oregano, sage. This is just your basic garden sage. There's other colors. There's tricolor, there's purple. They're all great to cook with. Marjoram. I don't have a lot of marjoram, but this is another underused herb in the mix blend. It's great. And we have rosemary. And a little rosemary goes a long way, so we don't use a lot of rosemary in there. We're going to tie these up so we can air dry them outside. You don't want to put them in huge bunches. You want to do smaller bunches so they dry quicker and easier. You don't want them to get mold or, you know, not dry completely. So we'll show you how to bunch these up. And one other little pointer is I just cut little pieces of paper, write down the name of the herb. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but let me tell you, when the herbs dry, sometimes you can't tell the difference between mint and lemon balm, which we don't have here right now, but especially if you have different thymes or different sages, just for your own self, just make a quick little label. Cute little trick. We do this when we make herb bundles as gifts. I'm going to tie these up. Instead of labeling it with a little marker that you're just going to reuse, pull off a bay leaf. And you can write the herb, or you can write "Have a lovely day," something sweet like that, and it makes your little bundle look really cute. And bay leaf is always great in a soup or a stew in the wintertime or any time of the year. These we don't crumble up and add to our seasoning mix. We will dry these like this, and then we will pop each leaf off, and we will, after they're dry, and we'll put them in little bags, or little jars is even better. Another fun trick you can do is if you just pop the leaves off when they're fresh like this, take a needle and some thread or some heavier string and just string them and make a long little string of bay leaves, and then you can just pop off as needed. You can hang them in the kitchen. So as you can see, I have my fancy herb drying rack here, which is actually a clothes rack from Walmart. You can just get them inexpensive, and what's nice is they roll, so you can move it around if you have to. But you get we just do this out here on the patio. You can buy hooks. Sometimes you can get them inexpensive at the hardware store, or you can just take some stiffer wire and make your own little hooks. You're going to reuse them anyway. And again, we usually hang a couple bundles per hook. You don't want to put a bunch on there because, again, you want the airflow, you want it to dry. And in this hot weather that we're having right now, these usually will dry in a couple of days. So we will hang them, let them dry, make sure they're nice and dry, because you don't want to put anything in a jar or in a bag that has any moisture in it, or you'll end up with moldy herbs. And so we're going to take down some of these herbs that we've already dried. Then we'll show you how to make our spice blend that we use in the wintertime and year round, basically. Okay, now the fun part. Once your herbs are dry, you want to gather them up, get them together, and you can use any kind of a bowl or a tray. I like something with a little deeper edge, just so that, well, out here the breeze is blowing, but and you basically, this is what I do, you can strip them individually if you want, and then you can pick the stems out, or what I prefer to do is just this, because these are going to be broken up into smaller pieces anyway. Then you can go in here punched up, and then pick out the woody stem parts. Don't bother putting it through putting it through a strainer. These will all just get stuck in there. So better to hand pick them out like that. So you'll go through and you'll do each herb. So this is oregano, right? So we're going to show you a quick little mix of what we like to put together for that we use in soups and stews and cooking, especially in the wintertime. We've got some oregano in there. I love thyme. Thyme is probably my most used herb on a daily basis. So definitely going to add a little extra of that in there. It's so easy to grow. There's all different kinds. As you can see here, this is a French thyme, and I did have some dried parsley. I'm going to put some of that in there. This one doesn't do well in the summers here. It does okay in the shade, but you can always pick up some parsley or cilantro at your farmer's market if somebody has it there. You can get some organic. You just want to make sure nothing's been sprayed. We don't spray anything here in our gardens, so you don't want anything with any kind of chemical on it. And then we're going to do a little bit of rosemary. Rosemary is a really strong herb, so I just like to kind of crush that up. And we'll get in here and mix it all really good with our hands. There's just something about getting your hands on the herbs. They just, God, they smell so good. And then we have marjoram. Marjoram is similar to oregano, but to me, it has, it's almost a sweeter version. It's a great flavor. So we want to make sure we add some of that in there. And then we also have a little bit of basil. So I don't have very much, so we're just going to put what we have there. And then again, sage is another one that's a little stronger, so we don't want to put too much sage in there. A few leaves like that, maybe another one. And again, you can pre-crunch them all up and have them in the jars like I have here. I was just out of some of these, but I'll go through. And you can also run it through a mortar and pestle to really get it fine. That makes it really nice. Oh, they smell so good. And there's just something therapeutic about doing this by hand with a mortar and pestle instead of using a food mill or something with electricity. This is just the way it should be done, I think. Look how cute those are. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. Get out there and dry your herbs. Bundle them up and dry them while the air is warm. It'll save you money because you can just have them at any time. You have them through the winter time, and you know where your herbs have come from, and you know that they haven't been sprayed, and it's the mix you like. If you want to add more heavy on the basil or heavier on the thyme or oregano, you can make your own mix. You can put them in separate jars and mix them that night when you're getting ready to cook. But get out there in the herbs. So hope to see you soon. Stay curious out there, gardeners, and stay cool. And we'll see you next time.